Yeah.
Just took a couple pairs of sweatpants and
These leggings, yeah.
we're live. It's just the time. Why not? No, I was just saying we're live.
Right.
Very chatty.
I think we're good. I think that clock's slow. It is 6 o'clock.
Do you have 6 o'clock?
My computer, yeah.
This one says 5:59. All right. Okay, it's 6 o'clock and we're going to bring our city council meeting for September 23rd to order. And we will begin with roll call, please.
Sarchet?
Here.
Savage?
Here.
Walters?
Here.
Vogel? Here. Otis?
Here. Item number 3 is approval of agenda. I'll ask for a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
And roll call.
Vogel? Yes. Otis?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Savage?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Item number 4 is public hearings. It's time to close the regular meeting and open the public meeting on amendment number 1 to the FY 24-25 budget. When was the notice published, Jenny?
September 13th?
Have we had any written comments received for or against the proposed budget amendment?
No, sir.
So at this time, we'd like to have staff report. Andrew?
Hello. This amendment includes amending for the current budget year, FY '25. The proposed amendment includes amending for $75,000 in revenue, $2.8 million in expenditure, and an additional $1.2 in transfers between funds. Most of the amendment is specific to the city capital projects extending from the previous fiscal year and is more of a cleanup on our current budget. The amendment also accounts for the city council utilizing general fund cash reserves for the park project. And then you have some more information in the packet in front of you. Does anyone have any questions?
Veteran move getting the finance director to approve spending when he wasn't around here for it. But nothing from me.
I think we're going to have to invest in a longer microphone because you're much taller than the rest of us. Okay, anything? Anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against the proposed budget amendment? I need a motion then to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting. So moved.
Second.
And then roll call?
Vogel? Yes. Otis?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Savage?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
So I need a motion then to approve resolution 2024-121 approving FY 24-25 budget amendment number 1. A motion, please.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Any comment? Roll call.
Vogel? Yes. Otis?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Savage?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Moving on to 4B then, it's time to close the regular meeting and open the public meeting on the adoption of a 5-year capital improvement plan for FY 26 through 30. Jenny, when was the notice published?
September 13th?
Have we had any written comments for or against the proposed CIP adoption?
No, sir.
So at this time, Chelsea is going to give us the staff report.
For the City Council's consideration tonight is the proposed capital improvement plan, known as a CIP, for the fiscal years 2026 to 2030. A CIP is a tool for the scheduling, planning, and financing of large-scale projects and equipment purchases. A CIP provides the residents, elected officials, and city staff with a list of the proposed projects that the city plans to prioritize over a period of years. Over the last several months, the City Council has been working on a new CIP, reviewing and ranking priority projects and equipment purchases. Information was compiled regarding these projects, and the City Council has ranked the projects into their respective priority years for completion. The proposed CIP included 36 projects and 39 equipment purchases. After prioritization for the next 5-year period, the city council has prioritized 15 of those projects for an estimated total cost of $14,451,624. A complete list of all projects and equipment can be found in the city council packet for this evening, as well as on the city's website.
All right, anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against the proposed CIP adoption? I need a motion then to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
So moved.
In a second,
Second.
and roll call.
Otis,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
So I then need a motion to approve Resolution 2024-122, approving FY 26 through 30 CIP adoption. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
call the roll.
Just a quick question. So 5-year CIP approval with the plan to revisit it formally every other year, is that,
We typically revisit every year,
okay?
and we will make adjustments as needed. So we would go through a public hearing to make an amendment
Okay.
every time the plan needs to be amended.
Even better.
Okay.
Anything else? Call the roll, Jenny.
Savage,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Otis,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
So we have a presentation to make tonight, and I'm glad we have a nice crowd here, so we can do this and everybody can help us celebrate. So last week, a group of us from the city attended the annual Iowa League of Cities annual meeting. And during this time, the Iowa City County Management Association awarded their prestigious City Manager of the Year award. Our city manager, Chelsea Huseman, is a member of that organization. In fact, she serves on the board for that organization. So it's my pleasure to share that this year was a special year for me because I was pleased to be asked to join a group of Chelsea's city manager peers to recognize her for her professional service to the city of Polk City and the IACMA organization. Chelsea received this award on Thursday night at both the Iowa City County Management Association social and then again later at the Iowa League of Cities award ceremony. Our group from the city was pleased to be there for her, although she was wondering why we were all there at the early meeting. But we were pleased to be there for her for both occasions and share our support. We're very proud of her. Here tonight to witness the presentation for this award are members of Chelsea's family in the front row, Jeremy and Brinley and Camden. So welcome to our city council meeting. And please join me in, well, stand up. Please join me in congratulating Chelsea and showing our appreciation for her great work. Thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you. I was very surprised on Thursday, and I did not have anything to say. I was very nervous as well, so I did just prepare a couple of comments. I'd like to thank you all for your support in the profession. It is much appreciated, and I am honored to be recognized by my peers across the state of Iowa. It is important to note that I would not be recognized if it weren't for all of the following people that help me each and every day. To the mayor and city council, it is you who sets the vision for our community, and it is greatly appreciated that our community has elected great leaders for Polk City. To the city staff, each and every one of you are hardworking and some of the most genuine people I've ever worked with, so thank you to the city staff. And thank you to my family, especially Jeremy, Brinley, Camden, and Nala, who get to who get the good, the bad, and who are always flexible in allowing me to work, attend many night meetings, and encourage me to apply for the Polk City job years ago. I couldn't do it without all of you and appreciate each and every one of you, so thank you.
Again, thank you. So we're going to move on to item number 6, and that is our public comment period. This is the time and place for comments for any item other than those that are a public hearing. Now, have we had anybody approach us to speak during this time?
Yes, sir, Laramie.
All right, Laramie, please come on up.
Thank you. And Mayor, I'm also one of those tall people. Sit down a little bit. Chelsea, congratulations. Pleasure working with you in the time that we worked together, and well-deserved, well-honored. I see we have some good things coming at the end of this meeting on proclamations on Fire Prevention Safety Week, or Fire Prevention Safety Week coming up in the first part of October. I also want to bring attention to the city, to the council, to everyone, that this week was also a proclamation for ATV, UTV safety throughout the state of Iowa, that I'd like to just read the proclamation, since I know it wasn't widely distributed across the state of Iowa that this week was going on. So, signed by the governor, Kim Reynolds, but it says, whereas the state of Iowa is pleased to recognize significant milestones and achievements of the people, the communities, and the organizations of this state, and whereas the safety of farm workers, the operators of ATVs, UTVs, and their passengers is of utmost importance to this state, and whereas ATV, UTV owners may overturn or be involved in crashes without adequate passenger protection, and whereas the safe operation of ATVs and UTVs by farm workers and for recreation is a significant industry in the state of Iowa, and whereas ATV and UTV accidents are an ever-present issue affecting Iowa residents, especially youth. According to research conducted by the U.S. Consumer Protection Safety Commission, over 700 deaths involving off-highway vehicles occur each year. Youth under the age of 16 accounted for 1 in 4 of those fatalities in the first half of 2023. Whereas through education and awareness of the ATV and UTV safety hazards and safe operation, off-road nationwide in the state of Iowa hope to reduce the number of preventable injuries and deaths associated with the operation and usage of ATVs and UTVs. And whereas ATV-UTV Iowa Safety Day is a collaborative effort by the agricultural industry leaders and agricultural professionals working together, including the following: Ride Safe Foundation, powered by BRP, the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics, Nationwide Children's Hospitals, and Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company. And whereas through education, awareness of hazards, proper passenger protection, safe operation of ATVs and UTVs, the state of Iowa hopes to reduce the number of preventable injuries and deaths associated with the operation of ATVs and UTVs. Now therefore, I, Kim Reynolds, Governor of the state of Iowa, do hereby proclaim September 22nd through the 28th, 2024 as ATV-UTV Safety Week. So, thank you, Governor Reynolds, for recognizing this week as a pretty key week for us. I know throughout the state we are seeing cities and communities get involved in this. I can state 3 in particular that we're involved with as a company. I'm here representing myself, not representing Nationwide, but I also been involved in these particular situations. We have Martindale St. Mary's, who's dedicating all day Wednesday to ATV safety, ATV-UTV safety for their students, grades K through 12. We have Winterset School District that is doing that on Thursday. We have the I-35 School District who is investing a full day on Friday to do that. And so we'll be training over 2,000 students, ages obviously K through 12, on the safe use and the accident prevention of these particular vehicles. Obviously knowing that the hazards are at hand, right? We've talked about these in the past. I'm not going to reiterate what these are. I'll just give you an update. As of last week, or last time we met, 2 weeks ago, I guess, we had 16 deaths, if you recall. That projected out to potentially 24 deaths in the state of Iowa by year end. Unfortunately, since we've met, there have been 3 additional deaths. So we're up to 19, including 2 horrific deaths over the weekend that I'm sure you can read in the newspaper or online or wherever. This issue is not getting better. This issue is getting worse. It takes industry, it takes government, it takes everyone to stand up and say, enough's enough. Will we have the courage to do that? I know we have a 3rd reading of this today, and I know where we stood the first couple times. I'm asking you to reconsider. And the one last thing I'd like us to consider is where this ends, right? We know where it starts. You know, we have folks out there working through this, but where this ends is in the financial responsibility side of this, right? Because someone's got to pick up the pieces. after it's all said and done. And a lot of that means our fire departments, our police departments, our medical responders, obviously our insurance carriers and the safety professionals across the country. Where this ends is someone having to provide financial responsibility back to the people impacted by this. And as you know, there is financial responsibility built into this law, but as some of you know who are ATV users and owners of these, you know those laws are kind of sketchy as far as how that coverage protects on ATVs and UTVs. So what I'd encourage, if this passes tonight for the third time, is that anyone out there who intends to use these on public roads, please speak to your local financial professional advisor. Most of you use an insurance agent for that, but some of you may use other sources for that. To ensure that if the bad things happen, which of course in Iowa 19 people have now died this year as a result of these, that there is coverage there to pick up the pieces. And that communities outside of being impacted by the emotional distress, outside of being impacted by the community challenges that come along with each and every one of these, will not be impacted by families or others having to pick up the pieces from a financial standpoint. So hopefully, folks will take heed to that, reach out to their provider for financial assistance, and make sure that they are covered, specifically for that piece. We applaud you guys for taking the time to listen to us. Appreciate that. And hopefully we can all work in tangent with each other to continue to promote the safety and well-being within this space. And hopefully we can take that unfortunate increasing number of serious injuries and deaths and somehow bring it down to a more manageable level. Thank you.
Thank you, Irving. That sweet little sound you heard was the 5-minute limit over there. That's just for anybody else who wishes to speak. Is there anybody out there who didn't fill out a card, who wishes to make a public comment on anything on our agenda? That includes business items that will come under number 8. This is your time to make public comment. All right then, hearing none, we will move on to item number 7, which is our consent items. I'll ask for a motion to approve, please.
I'd like to make a motion on the consent agenda, but pull item J.
Item J. All right then, we'll have a motion to approve all items except J, and then we'll talk about J. A motion and a second, please.
Have a motion, I need a second.
Okay, I'll second.
And roll call?
Vogel,
Yes.
Otis,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
All right then, let's take up item J, update brush pile hours effective September 30, 2024.
So I know we talked about this in in our last work session, and it wasn't recorded. So I am excited that we're adding additional hours during the week, Monday, in addition to Friday that had already been on there. I don't know that we talked, and I am concerned about the closing for 3 months from December through February. So did we approve that when we amended the brush pile hours in the spring, the closure in December? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think the motion or the motion that was made by the council was to close it at the end of October. Is that correct, Mike?
Okay. So I guess, and I don't know, I don't want to forestall the progress of opening up for another day. I do want to revisit that piece in December, as was pointed out to me, that pruning trees is best done during the dormant season, which is essentially those 3 months. So I guess I don't know that we need to agree, let me say it this way. So if we want to just make the motion to the addition of Monday and then revisit when it's open, I don't know that it has to be the same, but I would hate to see there be no opportunity to utilize this over those 3 months, given the fact that that's essentially when the best time to do that type of work is. Is it worth staff's time? The volume has to go down, right? But, so, again, I don't know the best way to proceed, and we don't necessarily need to, I can get on board with approving this if there's an opportunity to revisit it before December, I guess is what I'm saying. If that's what others are comfortable with. And I don't know if I'm the only one, then I guess we can.
Yeah, to address that, Rob, that is our lowest usage rate. That's why we have asked for that, I guess. We just didn't think it was worth having it open. Yes, trimming trees in late fall, early spring, when the sap's still in the roots is a good time, but there's still plenty of opportunity on the other sides of those closings between December and February. So there would be a few people maybe take advantage, but that is definitely our lowest usage time.
Yeah, so, and like I said, if there's some sort of compromise that ratchets the hours back, once a month, something like that, I don't know, I guess maybe getting some input here. I know, well, I don't know, I guess others want to weigh in. If I'm the only one, then I guess that's different than if there's broader support.
So,
I'm in favor of moving forward with what's in front of us. Again, this is adding, more availability, everything. So I think we go forward with what's in front of us tonight. And I don't know, I don't know the need in the winter months. I do think, it is probably pretty minimal. I'm open to additional conversation on it. We can also kind of monitor and see, as it gets closer to that date, if there's a need to revisit it. But, regardless of whether we do or don't revisit that specific aspect, I would still go forward with what's in front of us today.
I largely agree with Rob. I do think that there's probably going to be a bit of a demand post-holidays for some tree trimmings and people who want to get rid of their Christmas trees as well. So I imagine that there's probably going to be a demand in the post-holiday hours. Do we need monthly? I'd probably not guess that. So yes, I'm amenable to revisiting this later, but let's go ahead and get this out the door and get people able to use it on Mondays.
Mayor, I do want to let everyone know that the 2 weeks between Christmas and New Year, so essentially after Christmas, Metro Waste Authority does pick up at the curb for Christmas trees, and some of that winter trimming. I think the Christmas trees cost $1 to get rid of at the curb with a sticker. So just so everyone knows, that is an option through our current provider.
I think if there is the opportunity to provide not only Christmas trees, but put other stuff out there too, then I think part of that is, a marketing aspect around it. That maybe would alleviate the need to have more time. And maybe we still do need something, but I imagine if they will pick that kind of stuff up at your curb, that's also more convenient than hauling it over to the brush pile.
Jeff? Anything? No. So, Amy? So,
I'll make a motion to approve item J.
you'll make a motion to what?
Approve item J.
To approve item J. And a second?
Second.
We'll have roll call then.
Vogel,
Yes.
Otis,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Walters.
All right, moving on to item 8, business items. A, Resolution 2024-130, approving site plan for 109 West Van Dorn Street. Travis?
So for council's consideration tonight is a site plan for 109 West Van Dorn Street. So that would be southeast of the Polk City Square. On behalf of the property owner, Nanette Boland LLC, Shive Hattery has submitted a site plan for the conversion of the existing residential structure to a commercial structure. This is a CTS zoned lot. It's been that way since at least 2010. It was upon adoption of the CTS zoning district, that lot was changed to CTS at that time. As such, it's not required to provide any on-site parking. And then there are several items the property owner is requesting deferral on at this time upon council's approval of those. The site plan included some facade updates, the addition of an ADA compliant ramp, as well as the property owner's been working with the building department to make updates to the interior of the structure to make it ADA compliant. In addition to the site plan, as part of this approval, the property owner has requested the following deferrals. Sidewalk construction across the frontage of this property utilizing the city's standard sidewalk construction agreement, which essentially says that upon written notice from the city, the property owner has 60 days to install a sidewalk. Otherwise, the city will come in and they'll charge the property owner for that. Typically, those would be called when sidewalks become available on either side of the property to promote sidewalk connectivity. The second deferral is the deferral of bringing the structure into compliance with the architectural design standards for commercial structures. The intent of this property is to have it redeveloped in the next 5 years into some sort of defined commercial structure, new construction type situation. And so the property owner is requesting a 5-year deferral on architectural standards in the commercial district. That 5 years will be measured from the approval date of the council. I should mention that the approval tonight will be subject to your approval of those deferrals and then the provision and recordation of a deferral agreement as prepared by the city attorney. The third requested deferral is a 5-year deferral on the preparation of a stormwater management plan. To city staff's knowledge, there are no current stormwater concerns, and there's also not public storm sewer readily available for connection for this property. So we believe that is a reasonable deferral. And then the fourth is a requested waiver of detention to be consistent with the other CTS zoned structures around the square. Planning and zoning approved this with those deferrals in mind. And staff would recommend approval of the site plan as presented to the city council. Be happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Thanks, Travis. I understand the developer is here too.
Yes. Yep.
Anything from the developer? Okay, then. We'll go ahead and ask for a motion and a second then.
So moved.
Second?
And any discussion from council? Roll call.
Yes. Otis?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Savage?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Item B, second reading of ordinance 2024-1700, approving rezoning petition for Allure at Saylorville from A1 to C2, R3, and 2A. I'll ask for a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Yeah, I guess I would like to say a little bit more. I guess my position hasn't changed. I still feel like we're missing an opportunity here to develop this a little bit differently and have some more conversations rather than the first proposal that's gone through here. But I will say, aside from the criteria or whatever the vote was, I left the last meeting disappointed that we didn't do right by the folks that had reached out. And I think when you have the overwhelming amount of resistance to what we have, there just needs to be a little bit more explanation on why things are moving ahead the way that they are. And I can't change how people feel about things, or when people invest their time to come to our meetings, if the direction goes whatever way, again, that's one thing, but not feeling heard is really disappointing. And so the number of folks that I heard from that, certain things weren't taken into account or whatever the case may be is just hard to defend, and don't feel great about the manner in which we're approving this piece again tonight. But we'll just say that I acknowledge the frustration, and hopefully there are a lot of more bites at the apple going ahead, and some clearer and more back and forth dialogue can happen in the subsequent steps.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment too. So, I made a statement saying that this was an awful hard decision for me. And again, I don't think they thought it was lip service. I sincerely went out there and sat in my car for half an hour, multiple times. I drove around the neighborhoods. I envisioned what it'd be like living out there, having this being built. I also came back to my community that, you know, I ran on a promise saying that I was going to bring these things to the community and was elected. And I was very conflicted between the two. It wasn't a decision that I took lightly. And I did respect everyone that reached out and asked, you know, for us to listen to them and be heard. And I do, again, feel bad that they don't think I was sincere, but I was. And in my heart, I feel like this is the right thing for the community. So I will say that I listen to everybody. I try to respond to everybody. That was my commitment. And if anyone would like to have a follow-up conversation with me, I'm here and willing to have that conversation. So.
Thank you. Anyone else? Let's call the roll.
Vogel,
Yes.
Otis,
Yes.
Sarchet,
No.
Savage,
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Moving on to item C, third reading of ordinance 2024-1800, amending provisions pertaining to fire officials' authority to cite violations. A motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any comment? Call the roll.
Otis,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Item D, third reading of ordinance 2024-1900, amending provisions pertaining to pedestrians' right-of-way. A motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any comment? Call the roll.
Otis,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Item E, third reading of ordinance 2024-2000, amending provisions pertaining to sidewalk liability. A motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any comment? Call the roll.
Vogel,
Yes.
Otis,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
And item F, third reading of ordinance 2024-2100, amending provisions in chapter 75 pertaining to all-terrain vehicles, off-road utility vehicles, also known as UTV, and snowmobiles. A motion and a second, please.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any comment?
Yeah, so to take my own statement earlier, Laramie, appreciate you coming out. Don't begrudge anybody the opportunity to plug their point of view and their company. I will say, just in a quick search, it doesn't appear that any of the fatalities this year were within city limits. And I know that could be splitting hairs, but at the same time, that is what we're approving here. Nothing's really changed. It sounds like, again, cursory search, so, don't quote me on all this, but the accidents were private property type stuff. So it is gonna be very unfortunate if something does happen, and take the safety of all of these things on the roadways, cars, bikes, whatever, seriously. But I just feel like this is the right approval to make.
Anything else? Call the roll.
Otis,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Walters,
No.
Vogel.
Yes.
Item 9, we have a mayor proclamation. I, Steve Karsten, Mayor of Polk City, do hereby proclaim October 6th through 12th, 2024 as Fire Prevention Week throughout our city. And I urge all the people of Polk City to make sure their homes have working smoke alarms and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Polk City Fire and Emergency Services. That said, we will move on to item 10, reports and particulars. Anything from the staff?
Thank you. I just wanted to remind the public with the passing of this UTV law that there is a 14-day posting period before this goes into effect, so that these are not legal on our streets until it's been done. That's all.
Thank you, Chief. Anyone else from staff? Okay, we will move on then to Chelsea.
I have nothing, thank you.
Council?
I have one thing. I would ask everyone that heard that comment from Chief to make sure to socialize that with your friends, your family, anybody that you know that does own UTVs. I already had to remind a few people that I saw already, thinking it was passed. So if you could do the courtesy, just remind those people and try to spread the word. That's it.
Couple quick things. First of all, congratulations, Chelsea. I was a little bit nervous when the family showed up. What was going on, but I'm happy that it's for a happy occasion and it's much deserved. I did also want to acknowledge, we've got a resignation from P and Z, Doug Sires. In 16 years, is that what we, is that, okay. So I met Doug when I joined the P and Z, and you may or may not be surprised, but I can appreciate somebody who you never leave the meeting wondering where he was at. And he put in a lot of work, served in other communities too. P and Z does a lot of detailed work and really sets us up quite nicely. And Doug's a really good example of that. So appreciate all the time that he put in and wish him well on his, I think it's a snowbird move. So big shoes to fill.
I know we talked about the CIP, and it was, the extent to which we talked about it was a disservice to the amount of work that went into it. Not that we aren't recognizing it, but I want the public to really understand how much goes into that. And really our staff, they put a ton of time and effort into that. I know we as a council really evaluate that. So I appreciate everybody does that aspect, but then in tangent, people that make public comments, you know, to help us do our job up here, move everything forward in the best interest of our citizens. So thank you all for the amount of work that you put into that. And for the people that bring public comments to help us make decisions based upon, there's a lot of hard decisions up here. So all the information that we have is, you know, very appreciated.
Thank you. Anyone else? I don't have anything, so let's move on to item 11, which is adjournment. I'll ask for a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. We are